the meeting to order at 6 p.m. Would you join us for the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have roll call, please.
Scarborough.
Here.
Soul. Here. Kane.
Here.
Baldwin.
Here.
Baggerman.
Here.
Weststone. Wilkerson. Here.
Board members are all present. This time I have public comment. Anyone who would like to address the board may do so at this time. Have any public comment?
According to Maxwell Cadillac, I noticed that we're going to talk again about the 39 road exemption. I'd like the same thing. I have 25, 30 properties in the township that are in the utility districts, and I'm paying for special assessments for undeveloped properties. I'd like to be exempted, and would you mind refunding me all the money that I've paid into in special assessments? I want to be like the rest of them. Thank you.
Anyone else like to address?
Stan Fawcett. When possible, no rush. I would appreciate some kind of an update on the rush ordinance, what's happening. I haven't heard really anything. So maybe Mike can give you an update tonight on 37. But if possible, could I find out from somebody in the next week or two? That's all I got.
Anyone else?
Don Koschmider, Haring Township. I'd like this honorable board sometime here in the near future, maybe revisit your zoning ordinance on medical marijuana provisioning centers. That's what the new law is, they're calling provision centers. The Senate finally voted a couple days ago. We've been waiting for 2.5 years. It's going to get kicked back to the House for a final vote on some formal stuff because they changed it in committee, and Rick Snyder said he'd sign it immediately. So if you've been waiting for some clarification on the state law, it should be pretty quick. We've already made the Cadillac pay for a couple times. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, at this time we'll close public comment and we will ask for approval of or any amendments to the agenda. We do have several deletions to the agenda this evening that we're proposing. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Proposing to delete that this evening and reschedule that because of some discrepancies in the budget. Also, can remove the closed session, item number 8, because our attorney could not make it tonight. And also the DEQ on item 11 didn't respond yet to our, the list of the schedule of compatible pollutants for the sewer system. So we would remove that also and address that next month.
Where would the codes talk to us?
Pay draw number 19. That would be item number 10.
Okay.
Any other questions? Anything else?
Will we have a special meeting in between?
Yes, between now and the 30th.
You don't know when.
As soon as we get some answers.
I make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Second that. So,
I did not oppose it.
you seconded.
Right.
Okay. Okay, the amended agenda is approved. So that will move us into item 7, which is the rezone. Of 41 road. This was introduced, and I believe Mike provided you all with the minutes of the planning commission meeting. Where they approved this? From July 12th, do you have those? You have it? Anybody have it? Okay. The planning commission recommends to rezone the property from light industrial to general commercial. Any discussion on this? Questions? Comments?
I guess I would have a comment. The planning commission minutes are super vague. Motion was made, supported, recommend approval, rezone, presented on compliance of the criteria. A few years ago, we had to detail and document, not just write one sentence that claims we did as a planning commission member. So I'm a little concerned that the planning commission is thoroughly performing its duties, and/or did the process change? I don't know.
Shouldn't have. You went through your checklist for rezone, right? You have all that documented.
Yes.
But the
They found it in compliance with all the standards. There was no issue. I didn't table it out like you've probably seen it before. but-
No, I thought that was a requirement of the statute.
They did go through the table, but what I'm saying is, as it requires.
So then you have on file the table as they went through
Yes.
that everything. Maybe in the future, because we know that it's supposed to be there, maybe on rezones in the future, along with the minutes, you could send us the table. That would really be awesome.
Sure.
But all the criteria was met.
Yes.
Any other questions? Discussion?
General commercial, right? Right to general. And as general commercial, this will be a use by right?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, clubs and community centers, I believe, is what we were looking at.
And they're not gonna have to come back, pay more money for a special use permit?
No.
It's a done deal,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, general commercial is the most permissive of all our districts. They could have done what they wanted with Forest Rec, but it would have been under special use.
Before, when it was Forest Rec?
Right, and the master plan actually calls for that to be, I think it's an urban, it's the brown on the master plan map, it's transitional land use. It's not Forest Rec or rural residential, so they found that this was more compatible than forest recreational with the master plan.
So can I just ask you? So at the planning commission, the owners asked to rezone this back to Forest Rec. There was a planning commission meeting several months ago that denied that request, but you didn't have the full membership board, I think. And so then the request was changed to go to general commercial? So why general commercial, why not Forest Rec?
Well, actually, that wasn't denied, that was agreed. Once we had the meeting, that once the applicant was here, we all started discussing. It came to light what the applicants really wanted to do with the property. We researched with them in the meeting here and determined that commercial was actually a better fit than Forest Rec. And everyone agreed, including the applicants, that they should come back and try for commercial instead. So that was pretty much how that went.
I just don't want our board approving a rezone when it should be a different rezone, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And to me, I originally thought that Forest Rec was the appropriate selection, which is why I was surprised we went to general commercial.
Well, one thing that I would respond to that is, number one, the master plan calls for an urban type developed district. Forest Rec isn't. Also, if you look on the map, between that property, or sandwiched in, there's light industrial and commercial, so it's actually more consistent with what's around there. And that's one thing the planning commission considered in that change. Plus the fact that what they're actually wanting to do with it was a little different than what we had originally understood based on their application, so.
So can you clarify what they want to do with it? Obviously a building that they already have,
Mhm.
and then what?
Well, we thought they were just doing a park, like an outdoor park with some accessory buildings, but they came to us and said they actually wanted to do more of a community center type facility, which really wasn't fitting with the forest rec, it fit with the commercial district. So, actually, it wasn't zoned forest rec, of course, but it was changed to light industrial by Mr. Van Deen, Dr. Van Deen, excuse me. Over time, his ideas for the property changed, so he came back again and asked to rezone it yet again, so.
Changing that, Mike, from light industry to commercial, is that taking away from our master plan?
No, it's actually more consistent with it.
I thought we was trying to develop an industrial area. So then we did, and now we're changing it back to something else.
Right. Well, there's a future zoning map, which we had to develop a future zoning map to project out what the township felt the correct zoning was, and it does call for industrial, so, I mean, that is one thing that is, I guess you could consider a strike against it. You know, it's not the law, master plan is not the law, it's a guidebook. You have to look at it, as the ordinance says, the preponderance of the evidence and the material, so, you know, considering all things together in one package, what's best for the area. Not just looking at the zoning, future zoning, not just looking at the categories and the list, the plan list, but just looking at overall the circumstances to this property. And they felt that it was best to go back to commercial, so.
And you're sure this is gonna get them what they want and need, the zone reclass?
Well,
Because I don't want them to come back in here in a month saying, hey, we asked you for another $400 for a special use permit, that would be wrong.
Sure.
All right, so they're gonna be blessed to roll.
I've been in contact with Dr. Van Deen, we've talked things out, I've done my best to make sure I am clear and the township's clear on what he wants to do, and I believe that we're clear on that. So,
Good on you.
Okay, thank you.
yeah.
Any other discussion? If not, we have a motion.
I make a motion that we approve the rezone for 41 Road from light industrial to general commercial.
I'll second.
Can we spell out each parcel in our motion then?
Hey, Mike, did you put this together?
Yeah.
It's very good.
Oh, thanks.
2009-24-102 parcels 2 through 6. I just think we should add that.
Okay. Any further discussion? We have a roll call vote, please.
Whetstone,
Yes.
Wilkerson,
Yes.
Scarborough.
Yes.
Saul, no. McCain,
Yes.
Baldwin,
Yes.
Beckerman.
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is the snow plowing for the upcoming year. We have North Country Outdoor Services. They said they were open to locking the things for the same rates for 2 years, if that's something we would like to do, so we could have the same price for this upcoming year as we had last year.
What this is, briefly here, is this is their quote from last year. When they quoted last year, when we asked for quote, we put in there multi-years are accepted. They put in a quote for 2 years. The board, because this is the first time we used them, was last season. The board went with 1 year, and just see how good a job they did. And so I'm just looking for the,
And they did.
they did us a good job. So we either have to put out the bids or re-accept it. So he'll do it for another season for the same price he did for last year.
Do you
Need some
remember
direction.
what the policy said on this? I mean, is our policy manual that we just wrote not long ago correlates to us
We can do it
extending?
multiple years.
Extending.
So you in favor of?
Sure.
Any other discussion? Okay, I'll make a motion.
I'll make it.
I'll support.
We have a motion by Sol, seconded by Whetstone. And a roll call vote, please.
So yes, Whetstone,
Yes.
Beckerman,
Yes?
Wilkerson,
Yes.
Spalding,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Scarborough.
Yes. Motion carried. Okay, the next item is pay draw number 19 and an update on the 39th Road water main extension. Mr. Coates from Goslin Zubak is here.
Good evening, board. Good to see you all again. First thing, actually, the pay request is actually pay request number 9, not number 19. Make that correction. It represents actually a bulk of the work that's been completed since, I think, December was the last pay request. That project had a lot of changes and curves along the way, so we're just now getting that caught up for you. The total pay request amount for Sterling Excavating is $314,633.97, and Goslin Quebec has reviewed the work and recommends payment in that amount. It includes really 3 portions of the work. One was, the work on 39 Road, the other on 13th Street, sewer work on 13th Street Road, and then the water main work along Mitchell to the Vanderwall property. So kind of broken into those 3 components, if you recall. The only thing that's a little unusual about this, and I want to draw your attention to, is that the payment amount exceeds the contract amount that's on paper to date. I think Clyde spoke with you about that. We've been working with Sterling to get a final change order in place to reflect all the project changes. My understanding is that you approved the budgeted amount, but the paperwork, the contract amount with the contractor has not been finalized yet. The primary hangup, as I understand it, is agreeing on a final completion date. Rural Development, which is going to reimburse you for some of those, or it's going to be not reimbursement, but it's probably you're getting loan dollars for the sewer portion of that on 13th Street, require a final completion date. And so that's not secured yet, but I wanted to draw that to your attention that the contract amount here of about $1.375 million should jive with what you have approved in total for those other projects. But we don't have that signed document with the contract between the township and the contractor yet. My understanding is Clyde will be, he's been talking with Sterling, I know, and that they'll bring that final change order to you at next month's meeting to catch up.
Is 39 Road all done? Is our contractor all done there?
It's not all done. There's
Okay.
there's a little bit of restoration work I have on
Okay,
this.
all right,
But it's
okay.
not done.
Okay, so we do have restoration work
Yes, yes,
that needs to be continued and done.
yes.
And if somebody has a problem with some of the restoration work that's been done, they need to contact Clyde?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be the proper, we are, what will happen there is once the system is operational, we'll do a final inspection. And so as part of that, if there's issues with any restoration or driveway entrances, or those kind of things that you're aware of or make Clyde aware of, and we'll get those taken care of as part of the final project cleanup.
Okay.
So there will be another pay draw coming our way
Yes, this is not the final pay draw.
for that particular project?
Yes, right, there will be another one for that project. This is not final, and you won't, we won't come to you for a final one until all those issues have been addressed.
Okay.
So,
When do you expect that to be in service?
I think within the next 3 weeks is what Clyde had indicated. I mean, I believe it's passed the pressure test, it's passed the back T test. I don't know that all the services are physically connected. I don't know that all of them are going to be connected. But I don't know yet why the fire hydrants were still back, why we were waiting for that. I'm not certain on that. So I need to talk to Clyde and Sierra about that. I don't know that for you tonight. But it's been connected at both ends, is my understanding. So it is serviceable, but it's not, the keys haven't been quite turned on yet.
Okay, question for you. All right. Trying to recall my memory from months ago, there was an issue with road development and how we build them and how we said something. Anyhow, there was a paperwork issue. Has that been dealt with on this new bill?
Yes, we're following that same process, and that process is that you are expending the funds first, and there's like a month lag between then and when we go to rural development for the accounting on their part. And it's also the reason that we broke this into 3 kind of separate tallies, if you will, one that's eligible for RD funding and the other 2 that are not.
Okay, that was the issue.
Right, right, and so we've got that. That's
So how
others.
much of this is the eligible part?
That's the 13th Street amount, and the amount this period is the $97,535 is the RD eligible amount.
That's a sewer.
Amount. That's the sewer, right, the sewer component.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
So can I ask clarification then? So the board gets this, we get it presented, we approve it to be forwarded to rural development, in essence. They do the final blessing. If 97 grand is all that's getting blessed, where's the remaining 200 plus coming from?
A portion of that was the hydrant availability charges.
Okay, it's from our utility place? So it's from us?
Yes, we go back in there
All right.
for that project. Any other questions? We're good? You have anything to add?
No, on that topic, just a quick update on the IPP thing when you're ready for that.
Okay.
Ready? Ready for that. I had intended to be able to finalize that resolution for you tonight. If you recall, Jim White and I were here, I think in June, and we provided for you, and you approved the sewer use ordinance, and we had the IPP industrial control manual that you approved. But at that time, I couldn't get, DEQ was changing personnel, and I couldn't get final approval. And there's a portion of the sewer use ordinance that establishes the local limits for any industry that you issue a permit to. And I think I told you at that time that I had draft numbers, but they weren't formally approved by DEQ. So by the end of June, or just before July 1, I think we submitted that plan. On August 22nd, DEQ responded with comments, and they, in fact, do want changes to those local limit calculations. That's the bulk of their comments.
Tighter changes?
Well, just clarifications on how we calculated them, where the data came from, and clarification on the formulas that we used. So it's really more of a technical review. Some are tighter, some are actually.
Which is good.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's gonna be on the same page.
Yeah, it was difficult on our side because they had lost both their supervisor in Lansing and their district compliance person, so there was really no one available to review the document. So anyway, they're in place now. They do have personnel. I've been in contact with them several times over the last couple of weeks, but they couldn't get to, and I have submitted what I think will comply with their request, but I don't have final approval yet. I just didn't get it by tonight. But for sure, it'll be ready for next meeting. They had requested a resubmittal by October 7th, and so it might have to go to them kind of in a draft form, or what I promised them is that we put it on your docket for your regular October meeting, and then follow up with our formal submittal then. So I think we're on track, but we just got to cross the T's a little bit. Okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Do we need a motion to approve the draw?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
And it's going to be for $314,633.97.
That's correct.
I make that motion that we approve pay draw number 9.
We have seconded by Baldwin. Any further discussion? If not, we have a roll call vote, please.
Whetstone,
Yes.
Baldwin,
Yes.
Scarborough,
Yes.
McCain,
Yes.
Rolowitz, Ackerman,
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Okay, next item, item number 12, appointments to the Planning Commission and the ZBA. I'd like to make a motion to reappoint Baldwin to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term commencing 9/12/16 and going through 9/12/19.
Can I ask?
Yes.
I know you're push. Would it be wise to do a 1-year one in case the 2 new trustees want to get involved, or have you already touched base to know?
I just assumed put her on for now.
Stability.
Yeah. So we have a second?
Or second.
Seconded by Westall. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I also have a new person who would like to serve on the planning commission. His name is Mr. Nick Looney. He lives in Duncan Acres and he's in manufacturing. And I'd like to make a motion to appoint him for a term commencing on 9/12/16 and going through 1/1/19. That's kind of a 2.5-year term, and the reason being I want to split it up so they're not all getting expired in the same year or within a couple months of each other, so I'm trying to stagger this a little bit. And he's expressed an interest. He asked about it a couple years ago, and it's been in the file. He notified us once again here a couple months ago, so I'd make a motion to appoint Nicholas Looney for that term.
I'll second it, but I would like to comment. Can I ask you a question? Baldwin is a board member representative, Nick is gonna be manufacturing. Who do you have for ag? Or Forest Rec, or whatever you call Long Lake and 34 North?
Really, we don't have anyone right now in that.
Can you focus on ones in the future?
Yeah. Right, okay. So, I made a motion, do we have a second?
Support.
Seconded by Westall. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Also, I have Mr. Jason Helm, who is an attorney. He said that he would like to serve on the zoning board of appeals. So I would like to appoint him for a term commencing 9/12/16, and that would run until 9/12/19. He is an attorney, he did serve, he's served on several other county boards and commissions, I know, so he is familiar with the process.
ZBA.
And the ZBA, so.
Second.
I'll make that motion, seconded by Fager. We have a roll call, or all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We also, the vacancy of the chairperson, the chairperson of the ZBA, and I know the planning commission is going to vote for a chairman, like, I think tomorrow. That chairman serves as the chair of planning. So,
ZBA.
yeah, of the ZBA, yeah. So that will run with whoever that appointment's term is, so you can fill that in on our stuff also. Okay? And the next item is pending business. We have the gentleman from Long Lake here again this month, and again, our road commission is not here, and they said they were going to be, and I could not get my calls returned today or last week, so I guess if you got something to add, I can pass it on to them, and I will put this on again next month. So,
I guess put it on the agenda for next month. I don't even want to get back.
Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully we'll get some cooperation.
Has there been any other work done out there on the road?
They haven't done any more since the last meeting.
Okay.
The stumps are still standing. Water's a continuing problem since the last couple rains we've had.
Okay.
And I did get tentative permission from the Hendricks Estate to remove some trees.
From who?
The Hendricks Estate.
Oh, okay.
The property where we're concerned about this, the trees being too close to the road being a safety issue as well as a snow removal issue. There's about 2 other trees that are state land that probably would need to go to really do the job right. But without the county representative here, I don't know.
Okay. I will try to get them here in our next meeting.
Fair enough.
Something like
Can't
that.
blame you.
Okay. Any other comment or anything along Lake Road?
Did you by chance ask the road commission about seasonal roadways or whatever?
I thought we'd have them here for that.
Yeah.
Okay, next item, the 39 Road Ordinance Amendment. This is just the introduction of the amendments this evening. I would like your input, the board's input. I gave you copies of what we're proposing as to what you would like added to this or taken off. One thing I would propose to do is add this as paragraph F in section 2.1. That should read, the following properties shall be exempt to Article 2, Connections, Section 2.1. That should read paragraph D and E rather than section D and E. That's it.
Yeah, I know.
You read that?
Yeah,
The following property shall be exempt from Article 2, Connection, Section 2.1. Where it says section, you can change that to paragraph D and E of the Charter Township of Grand Water Ordinance. And this amendment should be added behind section, or paragraph E as paragraph F. Would you agree with that?
it can, except that I was wondering whether or not it should be, inserted. But yes, I will agree with that, yes. Let me just shut up and say yes, I would agree.
And those are the properties that it would apply to? Is someone present from 39 Road? Are all of the, do you have copies of this? Are all the properties on here?
We don't each have copies, so we've been kind of trying, sharing the one copy.
If you see any,
There were a couple changes, and we don't have those now, we noticed those.
if you have any other properties that should be added to this amendment, if you can get those to us, we can put them in here.
You got listed UP Land Trust, what is that?
That is a parcel of property that Dave Weatherall built a home on
Right next to me.
a few years back. The address is 4065 South 39.
That's on Willow.
That's the one that,
That's across the road. Willany Park is across the road.
that's on the other side of the road.
That's a lot.
And the one Dave that built was next to me on the west side.
Yeah,
Across the
that's-
street from me.
That's in the section.
So the UP Land Trust,
It's a big repo, I think.
Yeah, that's
Could be an
the,
open piece of ground, I don't know.
no, that's that gray double wide, that's the repo there.
Right
That's
across the
not
street.
sold yet.
Right across the street from me.
Yeah, just about.
No,
That's down, that's down.
No, that one's sold, and that's Timmons.
We've been told it's been sold.
That's William Timmons now.
No, that's the other foreclosure.
okay,
That one's been purchased by Timmons.
well, this is what came up on the parcel code number, was an address of 4065 South 39 Road in the name of UP Land Trust, so. But we'll double check on that.
Well, UP Land Trust, that's gonna be,
Corporation.
no, UP Land Trust is Walter Hutchinson.
Ooh.
Walter Hutchinson, that's right next to Sue.
That's
That's Walter Hutchinson.
So out of curiosity, on that particular one, trusts are transferred outside of deed
No.
transfers. How is this gonna work with that?
No, this, they own it, UP Land Trust is the name of this company. They do 106 exchanges and stuff.
Any other comments?
I do. I'm writing.
I want to make sure this is what the
Here.
board wanted.
Okay, let me just make sure I understand. The last page of this, we're going to add is paragraph F to that particular section. We're going to tweak a word in there. And right now, it's proposed to be everything we're adding. Okay, I would propose, because we need to be very clear with what we're doing, that we explain why this group is different than the rest. Because they are situated differently than, for example, Mr. Maxwell, who is here. And I think this needs to clearly explain that that distribution line is going down that road to connect to, one, provide the loop that we've been needing, and two, it's not because that particular group of people need the water. They are unique, and that needs to be in here for reasons beyond just Bodie's comments.
Wasn't needed or wanted.
Well,
We didn't ask for it.
It needs to be very clear.
Yes, I think for future people that want to deal with this in the future, that mistakenly thought we wanted this. We
No,
don't need it.
that's not a good enough reason.
Right, the want has nothing to do with it, sorry, if you want it or
but
not.
I agree with what you just said, so can you
Well,
paraphrase that for Bob?
I was working on it when you
All
looked at
right.
me.
Put something together, because this is just the introduction of it.
All right, but I think that would make this.
I think we need to do that though, and I agree with that, that has to be spelled out in here. This is a very unique circumstance, and this is the
Special
only
to
exception
these.
to our rules.
And this is why.
This is why.
Right.
Okay. Any other comment?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I see Mary had a comment, but I think under paragraph I1A, connection required, I think,
Which one you at?
I think 2.1A.
2.1A, connection required?
Yeah, I think. I remember reading it, and I remember thinking, oh, we need to say, except as otherwise provided. I just remember there thinking we needed to add the words as otherwise, something like that, as otherwise provided.
Make the changes and get them to me so we can get it all put together. Anything else? Ms. Stark?
The only other thing, just looking at this quickly, I agree with what Ms. Baderman said, but I also, because of the motion that passed last month, it says what can be done. I don't find what can be done in here. It's silent as to, well, it reads in your motion, give current property owners on 39 Road between 34 and a half and Blue Road a choice to drill, fix, or repair their existing well or to hook up to the drain water system. The motion was to give us the option, and it's not, I don't find it, unless you can point it out to me, I don't find it.
Well, the way this is written, you're exempt from those two sections that would require you to hook up.
Where does that mean forever and ever we can,
No.
we don't ever have to hook up?
Well, you know.
Because what if we want to hook up?
Then that's your option. You can do that. You're not required to. You're exempt from it, but that doesn't mean that you
Okay.
can't
so-
hook up to it if you would like to.
I just got this, but can you tell me what section in here it tells us that we are exempt?
That's what we're proposing.
But where's it at in here?
It's not there now.
It's not in,
Last page?
yeah, this is just the introduction.
It's not there now.
This is what we're,
It's not there now.
this is
Okay,
what
so we
we're,
really can't, okay,
Correct.
this is what we're proposing to insert into the ordinance.
my point, okay.
Okay?
Hey, Bob, when are the copies of that going to be available to us?
Yeah, the
Give me a time frame in relationship to the next meeting.
The next meeting is October the
Yeah.
10th.
When will it be available?
Try to get them to you, get them available by the October the 1st. So you have time to review it. So, any other comments? Okay. Reports, the treasurer's report. Beth, do you have anything to add?
Everybody should have it.
Okay. Any questions for Beth? Now, we'll move on to clerk's report.
As of September 7th, I've got 135 applications for our November 8th election, so it looks like we're going to have another good turnout for that. I've got a public accuracy test for a November election on September 29th, so if anybody would like to come and witness the public accuracy test, you're more than welcome at 11:30 in the morning. That's all I've got. Liquor inspection or the next time.
Mike, do you have anything to add to the zoning administrator's report?
Yeah, I have a few things I can write off of it.
Okay, first off, would you, within the next couple days, respond to Mr. Foss's request for an update?
Yes, sir.
Violations and stuff like that?
Do you have an update for the board on that?
I didn't bring anything other than the report, but I can give you a copy of what I just can.
That'd be great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Well, let me ask though, have we filed any
There's
tickets?
There's one property over on the corner of West and Works that had to do a ticket. That's the only one.
Do
that I-
a ticket or it has been given?
He hasn't been given one, no.
So you're gonna give him one?
Yeah, I'm gonna give him the ticket.
And then how many days does he have before we go in and clean that mess up?
I think we can go in right away and clean it up, but, you know, we haven't gotten to that point yet, so, might be something.
Keep us
We
updated on
need
that.
you need to jump on that
Yeah,
sooner than later.
yes. I'll be in here Friday. I will follow up on all those.
Can you email that,
Yeah.
the status of that to all the board members
Yes.
and get it to Mr. Fawcett? What else you have?
Friday, Mr. Kushmeyer, the guy who came in, made me aware of the changes to the state law on medical marijuana. So I told him I would look into that. Apparently, they're gonna allow municipalities to say yes or no to the provisioning centers and all the other stuff that they're now gonna allow under the law. So I thought I'd read the act and try to see if it means anything to us as far as.
The act that the Senate passed, it's going to the House. They don't concur, so what's coming out of the two is gonna be could be very different.
Right. And I had heard that, and I thought I read the news that it was actually passed by both, and it was waiting the governor's signature, so I don't know if that's true or not.
Well,
I'll do
the
some
House
research on it.
passed it to the Senate. Senate passed their own version. Now they have to have the conference to hammer out the version they both will like.
Sure.
Then it will go to the governor.
Oh, okay. Well, then we sit tight until that happens, of course, so. But, you know, it's been on the docket for a while. You know, we'll just keep an eye on it. Planning Commission tomorrow is gonna start working on the capital improvements plan. We've kind of worked on it a little bit here and there, but we haven't really dug into it, so, you know, we've got some stuff on capital improvements requests from, I think, the fire department and the utilities, so we'll start working on that. We want to put a calendar together for each year, because we really want to stay on top of it every year and put a calendar that we work on it before the budget for the year, so we're consistent with your budget cycle. So that's something we'll start getting into and get a draft to you hopefully by the end of this year. Try to push for that, so.
Of the draft that's already there, what should have been included in our budget we've been working on? That we're getting ready to bless. I mean,
Capital improvement thing,
No, I don't
39 road, water main extensions out.
We're not, I mean, we're not gonna try
You're not there.
to, we're not gonna try to hit your budget for this year. You're already there. I think it's futile to try to catch up to you now, but we're gonna start with the 17 cycle. Make it go through the next 6 years, and then we'll start rotating it every year, adding and subtracting projects. So get on more of a consistent cycle like we should be. A lot of communities aren't doing them, but you're supposed to.
I'd suggest when you guys have, the planning commission has a draft of that we have a joint meeting.
That's a good idea. I really do. We've also looked at scoring systems too. At some point, say everyone brings their request in here, either you guys or the planning commission or jointly, we score all the requests and we put them in, basically figure out which ones are highest priority down to the lowest. And we could kind of establish what year we would request things out of the 6 years. So we kind of develop our own 6-year schedule. We just tell the departments and agencies what they want to see over the next few years. So that's kind of some ideas we're throwing around. It's still kind of a new thing for us. We're just kind of learning as we go. So, the ZBA has a case coming up with our van. They want to put another sign up along the road. When we redid our zoning ordinance, we allowed parcels with multi-frontage in the commercial district to have a sign at each frontage. The basis of their appeal is going to be that the parcel has 3 frontages, the whole shopping center. But Anthorn really doesn't really have a use for signage because it's the back of the shopping center. So they're asking to transfer that 3rd sign allowance over to Boone Road to go in front of their store. So
where would they be, Bachman?
right in front of the store on the road.
In front of the wall
Yeah.
itself?
Mhm. So that's coming up. And as Bob said, we'll do election officers tomorrow, get our ZG chairman, planning commission chairman established, so. And also looking at the zoning maps, get that up to date. Looking at maybe requesting, having someone other than the county do our maps for us. I'm not able to get stuff done. I've talked to Jim Ray, he does that. He's interested in doing work for us as needed. Talked to Sierra about maybe having utilities and zoning on one map, so when someone comes in, they know not only what the zoning is, but whether there's utilities available. We get a lot of questions about that, and I'd like to be able to have one source where we look at it. Well, that's all I have. If you have questions.
Are we about due to update our master plan, are we not?
We did that actually in 2014. We did a couple major amendments to it when we were working on the Tier D stuff. Although if there's anything, it doesn't mean we don't have to, and if there's something that's really pressing, we can always revisit it.
But when are you doing the zoning ordinance?
We've just been working at it as we go. We haven't really done a major amendment. And we've done major amendments along with the whole Tier D thing as well, and the utilities changes. We've done a lot of things to the zoning ordinance, but we haven't done it like a comprehensive review of it. We have for the sign ordinance, that's one thing that we've been looking at, but when Greg left, before Greg left, he tabled that. He was interested, then he wasn't, so, but I think we'll probably get back to that again.
This is the most difficult part of the ordinance.
Yeah, there's about 100 ideas on what it should be, so. But we're at this point, if there's an issue that comes up, we deal with it, or something we've identified as an issue, we'll tackle it.
Okay, thank you. Fire chief, Dwayne?
For the month, we had 12 runs, 5 mutual aids, North Lake, Haring Township, City Fire. We had 1 electrical fire on Blossom Avenue, and then a false alarm on South 47 Road. We're gonna go put some oil dry on a car over at Home Depot, and then we had 3 accidents and 1 car fire.
Our fire department came and assisted the city of Cadillac at the house fire, which my mom's house was impacted. She's Mosser Street. She's living with me for a little while now till her house gets put back together. But the job our firefighters did, stepping in to back up and assist the city of Cadillac, I was very proud of each and every one of them, and kudos.
Thank you.
Excellent job they did.
We have a county commissioner this evening?
Yes.
Yeah, there it is.
I really just want to speak on one issue, and it has to do with the octagonal building. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, the executive committee is going to be looking into a new proposal that was submitted by the Northern District Fair. They're looking at taking the WEX and skate arena area, segregate that, and turn it over to the authority of the county themselves. It will be no longer a joint partnership on that property. In concession for doing that, the county would give the fair board a $5,000 lump sum payment and build them a new building with showers, bathrooms, and a meeting area. And this building would not exceed $150,000. The other portion that's affected is the octagonal building would now come under the control of the county. The fair board would be responsible for all the other buildings on the parent property, but the county would now have the say on the existence of that building. And in this new proposal, there's wording in there giving the authority to the county to destroy the building. And they're going to be reviewing that tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and if anybody has any concerns, they may want to attend that meeting, because I'm almost sure that the recommendation is going to go down with that kind of wording in it, and if it does, it could be the end of that 107-year-old building. And we'll see what happens. Or I plan to attend, and I know others will be, but I want to see what they're going to be saying on it. You have a question?
I sure do. How are they getting rid of the reverter clause on that property where it says that they can't, how are they getting rid of the reverter clause?
That reverter, it should automatically go back to the previous owner, which would be the fair board. If they made any changes, it has to revert back to the fair board, and if the fair board doesn't want the property, then it has to revert back to the recreation committee they had, and then back to the heirs. So they have a real involved legal opinion that they have to look into regarding it.
Have they done that? Have they done that?
I understand they've been working with the attorney. I have not seen anything from the attorney, so I can't speak on that.
Does the attorney mean the
That
county
reversion, I was
attorney?
on the fair board back when this all transferred. That reversionary clause you're talking about is if the county does anything that would inhibit the fair from having its annual fair, while selling a piece of property and giving them an easement across it, doesn't inhibit them from having a fair. So this is something that sounds like to me, after reading, the fair board has went along with it and they're gonna sell it. I mean, that's what I get.
That's the intent. Yeah, the intent is to sell that WEX and the ice arena. They may have, I'm not aware for sure, but they may have a buyer already in place for that property.
What do you think?
I personally think so, but I'm not aware, I can't say for sure. But it's an important issue because this whole building is got historical significance, and I think people should be concerned about it.
Wow.
I am, as one of the committee members, trying to restore that building
But you're not
on the executive committee.
right, and you're not in the loop.
Well, thank you very much for informing me.
Well, but you just told us you weren't in the loop.
In the third floor commissioner meeting,
How is the jail proceeding? the new jail?
It's going right along, we're a little behind schedule, they poured some footings, they're moving along, they're very tight. Things are, a lot of earthwork going on, but we are a few months behind schedule. But it is progressing.
How are we coming, what's the skinny on 911?
That's still up in the air, they're waiting for the results from the Michigan State Police on what the additional cost would be if we were to go over to, Michigan State as a dispatching. And we were told by Patrick Doherty, the administrator at our last meeting, they don't know when they're going to get that information. It probably won't be here so after the vote takes place in November. So it's up in the air. Can't answer that because I don't know.
Wow.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess.
That's all I have. If there's any questions.
That's it? All right. We will move on to utility infrastructure. Sierra?
It has blood out too.
Just for me.
Things are chugging right along. Everything's good for the most part. I am in the process. Oh, I got everybody here. We're seeking out some lead and copper sampling sites. I know I've spoken with Ms. McCain about this and also Mr. Soul. If there's anyone you know out there in North Park Pineview that'd like their lead and copper tested, if their homes are a good candidate for it, we'd be interested in talking with them. I have cards if anybody wants my cell phone number. Just give me a call, it'd be great.
But what is it that you mean? I don't.
Lead and copper sampling is done once every 3 years.
But you're asking for people that.
Sampling locations. And it's not invasive. It's, I basically would hand them a bottle. What you're looking for is the pipes to sit still for like 6 hours at minimum. So the best time would be to fill that bottle is the first thing in the morning, or if they go to work when they come back home, fill that bottle. Just give me a call, I'll come pick it up.
You're looking for people in North Park to do that?
Yes.
That's right.
However, got to be kind of specific as to, when the home was connected to the system, how the age of the home, what kind of plumbing is inside of the home. Like if they have PEX pipe in their house, there's no reason to sample for lead and copper, which we've come across a couple people that have been more than willing, but they don't really fit the criteria. You've had a lot of maintenance, annual maintenance done in the last month here. This is, everything kind of started for us, in the summer, especially there over at the wastewater plant. And annual things are coming up. Like you can see there, we had the effluent meter of the wastewater plant calibrated, just to make sure that that's still reading accurately. That's about it. You can see call outs are down.
Any questions for Sierra?
Can we get on here, when you hook up new people to the system, can we have that added to the report? Because apparently Baker has expanded the water system over there when the new dorms come in.
Right, but that does not, it's not a,
Additional connection.
no, it's all the same, it all comes off of the same connection.
Same customer, it's just an expansion on site.
Okay, well, I would just love to know that in your report.
Okay.
Well, maybe like the planning commission has a log of counts, maybe just counts of connected customers, a running log.
That's something I can work together with Judy
And we'd
on
see
that.
changes that way.
Judy's gonna have that stuff.
Yeah, so I would just like to see that so that I could see when our system is growing.
Or shrinking.
Pardon?
Or shrinking.
Or shrinking.
I would like to say thank you, Sierra. I had asked for, because we get this raw data. What the heck's that?
Well, I didn't know what to really do with it, so I just gave you the last year, just kind of what it is.
And so my question was, what are our goals? And obviously the goal is no
Minimal flushing would be great. We're still gonna wanna, you'll see there, that's what the gray indicates is the flushing, the volume of water that we actually flush. We're still going to do that regardless. Any system, you generally flush in the fall and the spring, through hydrants, and manipulation of valves and things like that. But if we can get that down to a minimum, that would be ideal, and this is your.
And that's possible with a new roof, possible.
Perhaps. There's a lot of work to be done there yet. I mean, we're in the business of data collection really with that more than anything at this point. We've implemented these little flow regulators out throughout the system, which has been, I think it's helping. I haven't heard otherwise yet. Where last year we were turning on fire hydrants and letting them run for the day and you turn them back up. These are flow regulated valves that we know exactly how much goes through that thing. It's rated gallons per minute. And then, we know how many minutes are in a day, so we know how much we're actually flushing, and it's and we can move them around, which is, I think, is ideal.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next item we have approval of the regular board meeting minutes of August 8th, 2016, and approval of the special meeting minutes of August 15th and the 22nd of 2016. Those were budget meetings, workshops. We have a motion? We have a second?
Support.
We have a motion that has been seconded. Do we have, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Okay, approval of check register, general fund, number 27,644 through 27,716, and direct deposits from 194 through 198. Electronic fund transfers 111 and 112 in the amount of $53,772.60. And the operation and maintenance fund numbers 2350 through 2366 in the amount of $88,124.88.
I make a motion that we pay the bills as presented.
Second.
Do you have a second? Baldwin seconded. Okay. We have a roll call vote.
Whatstone?
Yes.
Baldwin?
Yes.
Wilkerson? Yes. Hagerman?
Yes.
McCain?
Yes.
So, yes. Scarborough?
Yes. Next item, communication and education. Do you have anything? If not, we have second public comment period. Anybody would like to address the board meeting, so. Mr. Nelson?
I'm not gonna stand up, I'm tired of this. But anyway, I read your proposal there on 39 Road, and it's a good proposal, and I think well, thank you for making that. I want to take a little bit of opposition to what Gordy was saying there. He brought up that he wanted to be exempt for monetary reasons and so on and so forth on property he owns. I don't know for sure, but I think the majority of his property is probably in an area, I don't think it's in the health advisory area in North Park. If it is, I stand corrected, but I think that's a residential area which would have been put under special assessment, which he had a chance to vote on it and okayed it. And he wanted that. That's business. That's his business, not mine. But there is a difference here. You can't compare what he's asking for to the circumstances of where we're at over there. And I think Anita brought that up, and I'm glad she did, that it is a unique situation. It was brought about. Things were done. Maybe not been right, but there's a chance here to go back and lessen the impact of that on the residents over on 39 Mile Road. And it's a neighborly thing to do. If I was sitting on the board, I sat there for 11 years, and I had to make that decision, I would support it if it involved any one of you people. And I want to thank you for your time, and we'll see where it goes next week. And also ask for your support next week. Or next month, excuse me.
Any other public comment?
Yeah. Don Koschmaker, Haring Township. Once again, I'd just like to ask that the board would revisit maybe your ordinance on medical marijuana establishments. House Bill 4209 overwhelmingly got passed by the Senate a couple days ago. It's going to be passed by the House, and Governor Snyder said he'd sign it. So it affords a licensing and regulatory system. It's going to require the blessing of local counties, townships, municipalities. So I would ask that you change your position on that. I have the Michigan Medical Marijuana Act here. It's only 8 pages. I believe I'm total compliance with everything I've done with patient-to-patient transfers. You'll hear that you can only have a caregiver with 5 patients only, and that's just not true. In Section 4, it clearly states that. So I just want you to know I'm zoned commercial. I'm not next to a school or a church. I keep my weed ordinance, I keep my lawn nice, pay my bills. I just want you to know that I follow the law, and I believe I'm in compliance with the law. And now you've been asking for the state to clarify the law, and it has now. So, thank you.
Any other public comment this evening? If not, do we have any board comment?
Can I have a comment? I would like to read my proposed language for the ordinance as my board comment, and then everyone will hear my proposed language, and then everybody can play with it, so that I can get it to you eventually. I would add to this proposed language this paragraph. The situation of these properties, referring to this ordinance, is unique from other properties. The distribution system and water main installed in 2016 along South 39 Road was primarily installed for 1, to improve water quality in the North Park area by completing a water loop to enhance flow in the entire water system, and 2, to improve safety by ensuring water hydrant availability and flow, and 3, to provide 2 routes for supplying water throughout the system. That's what I have drafted. That's probably the best you're getting out of me, so there you go.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Any other board comment? If there is none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I didn't do it in the board.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're
I'm
adjourned
gonna
at
miss that. That's the one thing that I.
6:06.